Tonight we'll be traveling from Innsbruck in the heart of the Austrian Alps to Hamburg on board of one of the newest Nightjet sleeper trains. These new Nightjet sleeper trains are totally different from what we noticed so far from sleeper trains within Europe. What it's like to travel on board of these new trains, and what are all the different comfort categories like? We are all about to find out in this video as we take the Nightjet of the future. So join me on board of this Nightjet train en route from Innsbruck to Hamburg in Germany. I hope you like this video. If you do so, give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more trip reports about more sustainable ways of transportation, then hit the subscribe button. For now, let's get this video on the track and let's roll the intro. And just like many trip reports, I'll start off by showing you the railway station where this journey starts. If you just want to skip straight to the trains, you will find chapters for this on YouTube. And even then, I promise you, I won't spend too much time on the railway station this time. Anyway, our journey will start tonight at Innsbruck Hbf. This is the main railway station of the city of Innsbruck, what is the capital city of the Austrian state of Tyrol, and this city is located in the middle of the Austrian Alps. On both domestic, regional, but also international level, this is quite an important railway station. It's not far away from both the Italian and the German border, so you find lots of trains that will even cross Austria, for example between Germany and Italy. But also on the east-west corridor you find quite some international trains over here, for example from Switzerland to Slovakia or Hungary. At the front of the railway station there's a big parking spot for a bike, but most likely if you watch this video you're not from Innsbruck, so you're not really interested in that part. Something else you find at the front, right at the opposite, is a hotel. It's more or less integrated in the railway station. Obviously for a railway station of this size. At the front you also find a tram and a bus stop. What I really like about the trams in Innsbruck is that some of these trams become a kind of a regional train at the moment they are leaving the city. And these trams go quite far into the region. You find for example the Stubaitalbahn. Within the city of Innsbruck this is just a normal tramway, but as soon as this goes out of the city it becomes more like a train. I really like this, and maybe I'll make a trip report on this as well. At the front you find lots of bus and tram stops, and this has been all marked very clear. Obviously you also find a taxi stand at the front. At the moment I was here there was this exhibition about the new Brenner tunnel. The Brenner tunnel will reduce the travel time by train a lot between here and Italy. Right now the trains will go over the mountain, and later on these trains will just go under the mountain in a 55 kilometer long tunnel. The main concourse of this railway station, actually it speaks for itself. Directions have been marked crystal clear, you find lots of shops and lots of information about departing trains. Our train is also listed over here already. Most shops and railway related services can be found at a lower level. At this lower level you also find access to most platforms, apart from platform number 1 that is located directly at the front of the railway station. There are quite a lot of spots where you can put your luggage in, for example over here. And at this point you also find another taxi stand, a pick up and drop off zone for railway passengers by car, and as you can see the parking garage for if you go here by car. Although I don't think that's a good idea because I think parking fees will be relatively high. At the main concourse, actually just behind me over here, there's a full-sized supermarket, what is really convenient, and especially if you want to stock up some food and drinks for your journey. Even though most trains do have catering on board. In the main concourse you find lots of railway related services, like for example a big tickets and service desk, and also some smaller desks for local public transportation, and the Westbahn, what is a commercial operator. And something else is the ÖBB lounge. If you are traveling first class, or if you are traveling in the Nightjet in one of the sleeping carriages, because they don't call it first or second class in the Nightjet, you have access to the ÖBB lounge over here. If you take a Nightjet sleeper train and you're traveling from other countries to Austria, lounge access might be different per country, so please check the rules, and this might change in the near future as well. Apart from the main tickets and service desk, there's also this info point for local public transportation, and there's also a ticket counter for the Westbahn over here. Westbahn is a commercial train operator in Austria that has trains between here and Vienna and some occasional trains between here and Bregenz. Some more indoor waiting areas, toilets, etc. can all be found near the main concourse. There are 2 tunnels from the main concourse to the platforms. This tunnel over here is the one that has least facilities. Over here you find elevators and stairs, and there's also another tunnel where you also find escalators. Anyway, tonight our train will depart from track number 7. For those of you who maybe already noticed at the departure screen earlier on, this is a combined sleeper train. One part will go to Amsterdam in the Netherlands and the other half will go to Hamburg in Germany. In Vienna there are also several train parts that will start together. These will be 2 or 3 train parts. Also, one part goes to Hamburg, another part goes to Amsterdam, and there's probably in Vienna also a part that goes to Brussels. And even though the final destination for all these trains is different, this way you basically need way less locomotives and staff, to let these trains drive. The part that starts in Vienna and goes to Hamburg, the same destination what we have, is also a new Nightjet train. However, before I show you the interior, I actually was already very curious and sneaked already a little bit through the window. Let me show you the exterior. At the outside it has been clearly marked if this is a sleeping car, a couchette car or a seating car. And these are roughly the 3 comfort categories you can find on these trains. Although there are some more differences, but I'll show you this all in a bit. Apart from that, the train number, the carriage number, the routes and some stops along the way have also been mentioned on displays at the side. And even though these trains do run combined for a big part of the journey, every part that has a different destination of the train does have their own train number and also their own carriage numbers. So it's hard to end up in the wrong carriage. However, if you walk through this train and especially at night, please make sure you won't go to the other train parts because you might end up in the wrong part. From this side the windows look pretty normal, but if you look at this train from the other side, you probably would notice something kind of strange in a way. I'll explain you why in a bit. Anyway, for now I think it's about time to go into the train. Actually, at the moment I recorded this, I was just really curious. And these trains, they do smell very new, because these trains are very new. Originally we were traveling with 3 people. However, one of us opted out and therefore we had an empty spot. We've booked a deluxe sleeping carriage and we booked one of the mini cabins. What are the pods? I was staying in one of the mini cabins. And something I really have to say about these new trains, they are so extremely smooth. Sometimes you don't even notice the train is moving. I never experienced it like this, and this is just really great. Of course, at a sudden moment you notice the trains are moving, but the sound is really minimal from the train itself, and also the feeling of movement is very little. And even though the mini cabins are the most revolutionary part of this sleeper train, I will start off by showing you some other parts, and I'll start off with the seating carriage. This is the lowest comfort category. Over here you find quite some space for luggage, I have to say, and you can even lock your luggage with these locks. This is not for a lot of suitcases though, but well, some suitcases can be locked this way. Personally, I always take a lock for my suitcase, just in case. So far, nothing bad happened on trains and I like to keep it this way. Personally, I mainly travel with a backpack, and locking a backpack, it can work, at least not to take the entire bag, but well, people can still easily access the bag, so for suitcases this works slightly better. The seating carriages do come in an open compartment, and this is just totally different from what we noticed on Nightjets so far. It's mainly meant for the very budget travelers that might travel with Flixbus for example, otherwise, and in buses if you travel at night, you also have to sit in compositions like this. And I think if I may choose between a bus at night or these seats over here, I think I go for this. This is not only meant for the very budget-friendly travelers, but also for the passengers that travel at the late night or the early morning. So when they kind of need an intercity, but there are no intercity trains anymore or not yet. So therefore, this is also something that can be very useful. Some people even took this for relatively short distances within Austria and also within Germany, I noticed. The layout of the seating compartment comes in a 2x2 configuration, and this is typical for most second-class trains within Europe. What I like is that the seats are relatively high, so they also block out sound, for example from people behind you or opposite from you. Most seats do come in an airline style composition, but there are some seats facing each other in a bay seat composition as well. If I will be traveling alone, I think I prefer this over what we noticed so far on the Nightjet sleeper trains. At this moment, the seating carriages in most Nightjet sleeper trains do come in 6 people compartments. And actually, if you recline the seats on both sides of the compartment fully, you can lay down pretty comfortable, but then you have to book it privately with maximum 2 people. And this way, I think it's better. Also, having these open compartments gives just more social security, I guess. Speaking of safety and social security, CCTV is available in all public spaces within these trains, also in the open seating compartments. For luggage, of course you find the overhead luggage racks within the seating compartments, and also between the backends of the seats you can store luggage like always. At some backends they even made some special, space for luggage as well, as you can see over here, although it's not a lot of space. And then you find obviously the bigger luggage racks I showed you earlier. Time for a seat tour. The leg room is not bad, not super wow either, but it's okay. You find a sturdy fold-out table in the seat in front of you for the airline style seats, and right above that there's a smaller table. This smaller table also includes a spot where you can wirelessly charge your mobile device. If I put it at the right spot at least. Right above that there's a USB charger, and at the side there's a small coat hanger. At the windows you won't find curtains, but there are sunscreens to filter out some light. Power plugs are located between the seats at the front lower section. Seat numbers can be found at the sides of the seats and also right below the luggage racks. A small display right below the luggage racks will also host information about the reservation. So in general, from where to where a seat has been reserved and if a seat has been reserved. The seats can be reclined a bit with the handle at the side of the seats. It's not overwhelming, but you can travel a bit more comfortable this way. If you're traveling on the bay seats, so seats facing each other with a table in between, you can fold this slightly out to make it bigger, and all seats, also the airline style seats, do have a reading light. Within the seating compartment you find screens at the ceiling that will host route information, but you find these screens in general all over the train. These screens are mainly located near the entrance and exit doors of these trains. Something else you'll find in the seating compartment area, so at least in the carriages that will host the seating compartment, is a spot where you can park your bike if you're traveling with a bike. However, keep in mind that if you want to take your bikes on these trains, it's obligated to make a reservation. You can't just take your bike without any reservation, and in the summertime this might be a very popular thing to do so. Something else I noticed was this door over here, and it was locked. However, I asked if I can have a sneak peek over here, and this here is the disabled couchette compartment. I really like it, this is really spacious, but most likely if you're traveling on these trains you won't be traveling in here. However, I often say this in my videos, and I really mean this. Traveling should be easy for everybody, no matter if you're in a wheelchair or not. And I think they tackled this extremely well in this train. And I really like this. This here is the accessible toilet that's right next to the accessible couchette compartment. And you can also use this as a diaper changing facility for babies. For now it's about time to show you one comfort category higher within these trains. And even though the disabled compartment I showed you earlier on is already a part of these couchette compartments, I will just move to the regular couchette compartments. By the way, before you move to other areas in the train, it has been clearly marked on the doors what kind of carriage you're entering. For example, couchettes or Liegewagen. These are the old-fashioned kind of accommodations you can find in sleeper trains, but over here it's not like what you have in mind of typical classic sleeper carriages trains. Let's have a closer look at our mini cabin I have for this journey. And for the mini cabins you get a card you can use to open the cabin itself, obviously, but also the lockers right next to the cabin. Over here you can store luggage, and there's also a special cabin for your shoes, because taking your shoes in this cabin is not really advisable. Even though this is quite deep, the amount of luggage room is kind of disappointing if you're traveling in these cabins, and that's the least I could say. One of the advantages of traveling by train is that you can take a lot of luggage, and this way it's not the case anymore, and that's really a big downside. Especially lots of people take this specific train that we have right here between Hamburg and Innsbruck on the route, for example, from Scandinavia to Italy. Anyway, there were several passengers on board of this train that just didn't have enough luggage room for their suitcases. And these people are not traveling with a crazy amount of luggage, in my opinion. So let me give you a cabin tour of the sleeping pods. I guess this is where this train is all about. I'm not talking that loud, I don't know how much you can hear it over here. I think I already showed you a bit. This is the entrance. Here you find a holder for your key card, you get a pillow, kind of sleeping bag and a blanket. You sleep in here. This is being washed, this not. Or occasionally, so keep this in mind please, for hygienic reasons. Over here you find a table with a mirror, and you can fold this table out so I can put it towards here. And this way I have a really nice table to work on. It's really sturdy, has a cup holder inside. Put it open like this. I do have a kind of a mirror. I really like it, it's really cool. This just feels so cozy. I like it, I really like it. Luggage space is really a downside when it comes to this. Let me lay down. You find coat hangers over here. So some people putting their luggage, their backpacks on here. Over here you can go to the other cabin. Actually that's my cabin. This one is empty, at least for now. And this way I can close it so I cannot see the other cabin. I think it's not fully soundproof, so if you are traveling with another person, make sure to book the two uppers or the two lower cabins and not one up, one down. Because then you can talk a little bit with each other. Over here you find the mood boards. Over here I can see if the toilets are occupied, if the washing room is occupied or not. The lights, and just like some other cabins over here, you have different kinds of moods. I mean, at home I have this as well and I never use those colors, but yeah, I think I'll just go for normal colors. And I can also adjust the volume of lights, so I can make it brighter or darker. For filming I think it's best to do full light. Over here there's also a service button. There is a very small window with an emergency hammer over here. However, I don't think I will fit through this small window. Maybe I'm just not average. I know I need to lose some weight, but I don't know if I would fit through it. You find a sunscreen. This way you can still see a little bit outside. You filter out some light, not a lot. Apart from that, you also find this light that will filter out most of the light. It doesn't filter out everything, and there's still some light sneaking through the sides. So if you are a very light sleeper, I really recommend you to bring a mask for your eyes. There's a power plug over here as well. Let me lay down. It's a bit easier for this. This is for the reading light. That's over here. That's this light. And I can also adjust the reading light a bit. It's quite bright actually. It's a bit too bright if you ask me. Then there's also a plug USB socket. And something I really like, I mean I don't charge my phone a lot wirelessly.
the side over here, you can wirelessly charge your mobile device if I put it here. Let me get my phone. You see? So actually it's quite comfortable. Really nice built-in. I mean, these cabins do feel really cozy. I like it, I like the atmosphere. The space for luggage in these sleeping pods, that's disappointing, and that's the least I could say.
Something I forgot to mention, you also find an air conditioning you can direct a little bit to you or away from you. You cannot influence the temperature when it comes to this. A frequently asked question for sleeper trains is, how tall are the beds? I don't know the exact number when it comes to this, but I am 1.92 m, more or less, and I just fit in. If I lay straight, I just don't fit in. But for this you can also ask yourself, how often do you really lay fully straight in a bed? Pretty much never. In the hallway you also find some small benches you can put down to have a nice seat. Because, well, that's a little bit hard in the mini cabins itself. When it comes to noise of the neighbors, or sound I should say, I could hear more than I thought at first. So please keep this in mind, and if you're a light sleeper, well, you should always do this in a sleeper train by the way, bring some earplugs. I think it would be great if they would give a little bit more warning signs about the, well, noise level within these cabins. Also, something I think that can be improved is to turn down the light a little bit more at night, because this way people who walk through the train also have a better impression of, well, people are sleeping here, so be quiet. Maybe some more warning signs about this would be nice, because if you just walk through these trains and all the mini cabins are closed, you don't realize people are sleeping behind these doors. And overall, I really like these mini cabins, don't get me wrong. They are a more budget-friendly way of traveling as well, and especially for solo travelers they are great. However, one other downside I really want to highlight. If a lot of people enter these mini cabins at the same time and enter this specific carriage, for example, it might be very busy in the hallway and you might not be able to walk through the specific carriage. This can be really a big downside. Also, I'm afraid that if people are traveling in groups, it might be very noisy on the hallways as well, but we all have to see how this will develop in the future. If you're traveling in one of the mini cabins or in the couchette compartments, you get a very basic breakfast as well. It's not as good as the breakfast in the sleeping accommodations, but I will show you this in a bit. At the very end or beginning of the compartments where you find the mini cabins and also the couchette compartments, you'll find one washing room and 2 toilets. These toilets are gender specific, by the way. And I really like that you can adjust the temperature for the water in the toilets, but also the washing room. During my trip, the toilets were pretty clean and they were also kept clean during the journey. These are the shared sleeping compartments. They're in the same carriage as the pods as I have right now. I haven't been on the refurbished sleeping cars of the Nightjet yet, but I think they're quite similar. Now let me give you a quick tour. Just like the other cabinets I showed you, you find the light panel over here. Also different mood lights. I like it, I really like it. Let me turn it on again. For filming that's better. Maybe more light. No, that doesn't work. It's okay. It's less comfortable than the sleeping compartments, of course. These are couchettes. It's a bit harder, but it's really not bad at all. You find a ladder over here you can use for the upper beds. I think you can attach it over here. You find power sockets. Also, you can wirelessly charge your mobile devices. A magazine rack. You get a little bit less good blankets and pillows over here, but it's still very good. It's nice. And you can also close this here at night in a way that you, well, won't fall out that easily. Some more power sockets, USB sockets, reading lights over here. It's really nice. There's a mirror over here, and just like the previous compartment I showed you, find a hallway. You can look at the window. You can lock the compartments like this. I don't know exactly how actually.
doesn't fully work. Let me try it again, maybe I did something wrong. Oh yeah, here, I did something wrong. I think you will get a key card for this. Or this might be with an NFC chip, I don't know exactly. But it's really nice, you can find the seat numbers over here. Oh, and what I see now here, you can adjust the air conditioning a little bit. What's really nice, because you have personal preferences. Not bad at all. And due to the design, it feels a bit like you have more privacy than normal. For luggage, you find most space under the beds. Actually, there's tons of space over here. Small little bin over here. Get some water. Not bad at all.
By the way, in the middle of the lower beds near the window, you find a table. You can put this up and, well, then you have a kind of table where you can sit next to. Also, you obviously find curtains to filter out all the daylight. And obviously, you do get a key card to open or close the compartment.
I'll show you the most luxury accommodation you can find on these trains. In the sleeping carriages, you only find one. So in total 2. If I really have to say, you have a shower, but you also have an ensuite shower in the other ones. But over here the shower is different. I mean, in general the space here is huge. It's huge. I mean, this all comes with a price, huh? So keep this in mind. The space here is huge. You have a lot of space for luggage. I mean, I can almost dance here. But I'm traveling without my girlfriend this time. But what makes this huge is the shower room over here. This is a proper shower. This is a proper shower. And the mirror here. Wow. So big. The toilet is nice, but this looks very decent. This all comes with a price, of course, so keep this in mind. But there are people with money and people who like to spend money, so this is for you. I wouldn't travel on this. Maybe I'm a little bit too much on budget, but yeah, I really like this. However, if you look at this like, you know, I want to convince people as much as possible to travel on a more sustainable way of transportation. This takes in a lot of space. If the entire train looks like this, you take away the possibility and the chance for other people to do this. So I think it's good that they have a very limited number of these compartments. Over here you can see a map of the train, and basically I think they just put it in here because it just doesn't fit one of these or 2 of these, so then this was the solution. And that makes sense really. I mean, use your space efficiently. For the rest, the light panel was basically the same as what I showed you earlier on. Different mood lights. Actually, let me talk a little nearer over here. Actually, I know this one is empty now and nothing inside, but this is a part of a field trip. It's not sponsored by ÖBB, by the way, but I'm working as a travel agent for a company that's selling railway tours mainly within Europe. And my boss wants to make a field trip. One person is missing on this field trip, but we accidentally booked this compartment in the next carriage. So there I can test the bed as well. So I will go there now. Might be a little bit messy over there, but we'll find out.
And the bed is not bad at all. I really like that you have these bigger reading lights at the foot end, by the way, but you also have the normal reading lights. You have about the same amount of space as in the mini cabins. However, because this is not just limited to one specific area, you just have more space. Something I was really excited about is to take a shower, because we had this ensuite shower anyway. However, no water was coming out for me. This is really disappointing. I mean, we stay in the most luxury cabin within these trains and no water is coming out at all. And even though within the most common sleeping compartments within these trains, you also find something like a shower, it's not like these kinds of shower. I wanted to be sure that it's not just me or there's not just a loud shortage of water, and I tested the normal water sink and this just worked like normal. So yeah, I don't know what was wrong. We didn't ask the staff anyway, so maybe we should have done this. However, the next morning it worked like normal. But then I didn't have enough time anymore to take a proper shower on board of this train, so I just skipped this. Something else that was quite disappointing, that it was quite cold in the sleeping cabin the next morning. As a matter of fact, it was really cold. Even though we didn't adjust the temperature or anything like that. As a matter of fact, we put it on warmer, but it was just extremely cold. Also for this, we should have gone to the staff and we didn't do this, so maybe it was something that could be fixed easily. Something I really like, by the way, in these new Nightjet trains is the pattern of the mountains you find literally everywhere with the dots on the side, for example. And even though I showed you already the deluxe sleeping compartment, so actually the sleeping compartment you find least on these trains, I haven't shown you the regular sleeping compartments, and this is what I will do now.
So these are the sleeping compartments you find most here. I just tested the bed out, maybe I already showed you. Find some hangers, you can put them here or just here. You can close this so you won't fall out of the bed. It's located right under it. Pillow, towel, blankets. Blankets are really nice and soft. What I don't like actually is because over here you don't have a window. And I don't see a power plug either here. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh no, there is. At the other side. That's a bit strange. If you have your pillow here, this is the bigger side, so this is for your upper body, and then you have a power plug and everything there. But it's okay. It's okay. Some things you can put things in. What I also noticed, my phone doesn't fit in if it's in the coffer. I don't have a super big phone, but this way it fits. I'm afraid I'll take this out, but this way it fits. Power sockets, USB plug. It's just really nice. It looks really nice. You gotta let me close this down here. There's a mirror, and over here I can look in the hallway. There's a feature I really like. Mood lights. I can change the lighting over here. And also the amount of light, so I can put it down more. For filming I think we just go for the full light, that's easier. And then you find the toilet. All sleeping cabins do have their own toilet, and believe it or not, there is a shower in here. I don't like to shower here, I think it will be terrible, but there is a shower in here, over here. We have to press this button to turn it on, and then here you can adjust the water temperature. Let me put it back, it just doesn't fit. Soap, toilet, another little bit. It's a really compact space. For the shower, I just don't know. I mean, oh, you can touch the shower through here, by the way. And then, like this, I guess? I don't know, to be honest. I really don't know about this. I mean, just no. I think I haven't tested it, but maybe I can test it out, I don't know. Another small litter bin. Another power plug. Quite a lot of them. And there's a small litter bin here, so probably I forgot things, but I will use a voiceover for that. The voiceover saved my life for this. Like coat hangers, I've got that. And probably more, but well, I get back to that with a voiceover.
Also for the sleeping cabins you can find the table over here. And if you put it up, you have a, well, kind of decent table. And also for all sleeping cabins you get a kind of amenity kit. With a sleeping mask, earplugs, slippers, some extra drinks. Well, it's just a bit more luxury. Also breakfast in the sleeping accommodation is a bit nicer. You can select 6 items from a menu card and then you get this in the morning. Free Wi-Fi is available in the entire train, in all accommodations and in all carriages. It's not just a Wi-Fi connection that connects you to the internet. It also links your mobile device to an onboard entertainment system. Within this system you can find real-time route information, but also watch movies, read magazines, etc. This is all in English and also in German. I didn't look for other languages, I have to say. And if you want to buy some snacks and drinks, there's a small variety available on board of these trains. Don't expect too much out of this. While I was filming, I also sneaked into the Amsterdam section that was attached to our train from Innsbruck. And over here I also took a look at the sleeping accommodation, and this is way smaller than the sleeping accommodation in the new Nightjet. Over here you only have a washing sink unless you book a deluxe compartment that also includes a shower and toilet. However, in the older carriages also a bottle of Prosecco was included. That wasn't the case in the newer part of the train, by the way. And I think you will still see these older Nightjet carriages a lot within Europe. I mean, Nightjet is the brand of the ÖBB, with Austrian state-owned railway company for the sleeper trains, and they are expanding their network rapidly. And this also brings me to one of my biggest points of criticism on the Nightjet. I mean, they ordered these new trains to partially replace a part of their old fleet, and I think this is great because the fleet for the Nightjet trains is just aging. However, instead of having more trains and having more guarantee that you will get the carriage or the accommodation you booked on these sleeper trains, they are expanding their network. I mean, I'm working in this business and it happens too many times that sometimes even complete trains are being cancelled, but also the specific carriage people booked in is not there, or they are being downgraded to another accommodation. Also in the Amsterdam part of the train, I noticed this open carriage over here. The seats are not reclinable, and this is just not how you want to travel on a sleeper train. However, I think about this topic, this deserves another video where I will just look up specific numbers and not share my complaint in general, but just base this on numbers and statistics, because the biggest part of the Nightjet journeys are still going pretty well. However, the journeys where something goes wrong is that high that I think this deserves another video. But this also means I have to do a lot of research, so I don't know if I will do this eventually, but I really want to do this. Anyway, we got out at the railway station of Hannover Hamburg. This is the most southern railway station in Hamburg where this train calls, and Hamburg is quite a big city in general. The train continues to Hamburg Hbf or Hamburg main station. And over here you can see the exterior of the train from the outside again with daylight. By the way, a little geek side note, these new Nightjet sleeper trains are the fastest sleeper trains you can find, at least within Europe, because they do have a top speed of 230 km per hour. That's it for this video. I hope you liked it. I'm already standing on the next train here at Hannover Hamburg. I'll also make a trip report about that. Once again, I hope you liked this video or this has been a helpful video to you. If so, please give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more, then hit that subscribe button. Before I really end up this video, one last thing. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you liked this video. If you are interested in other trip reports, of course you can find them on this channel. And something else, in the description of this video on YouTube, you find a link to a map. And on this map you can find all trip reports. See you on the next video.